In this pattern, the key shot is getting from the 1 ball to the 2 ball, and getting from the 6 ball to the 7 ball. Before Chang shoots the 1 ball, let's look at the 3 and 4 ball. If Chang can end up around here for the 3 ball, he can stun the cue ball off the side rail for his shape on the 4 ball. A high angle in the 4 ball will send the cue ball to the middle of the table for the 5 ball. So when Chang shoots the 1 ball, he wants to go 2 rails and end up on or on the right side of the 2 ball pocket line. The danger area is going too far and crossing the 2 ball pocket line, which means he'll have some work left to do to create a proper angle on the 3 ball. When playing shots like this, you really need to visualize the cue ball path before you get down on the table. Try to give yourself a target on the second side rail that you can send the cue ball toward. Once you can start visualizing the cue ball path, you're going to have a much better idea of cue ball speed and spin. And as we can see here, Chang is picking a target near the side pocket. When working with students, many of them let me know that they would never send the cue ball this close to the side pocket. These types of positional shots where the cue ball is coming close to the side pocket are the types of precision shots players need to be comfortable with in order to reach a higher level in pool. At this angle, Chang can stun the cue ball over to the side rail and back out, making sure he stays on the left side of the 3 ball pocket line. Before he shoots a 3 ball, he needs to determine where he would like to end up for the 5 ball. One mistake many players make when trying to run a pattern is to not look far enough ahead. For instance, if the player quickly looked at the table, they may determine that ending up with an angle like this will work on the 4 ball. The problem is that if we look ahead to the 6 and 7 ball, Chang is going to need an angle like this on the 6 ball to go 2 rails for the 7 ball. In order to end up here for the 6 ball, Chang is going to need an angle around 40 or 45 degrees on the 5 ball. And from here he can go 2 rails for his position on the 6 ball. The advantage of going 2 rails like this is that once the cue ball leaves the second cushion, the cue ball is traveling at the correct angle on the 6 ball. So a proper angle on the 4 ball would be around here, which will give him a natural angle to float the cue ball to the middle of the table. Chang ended up a little flatter on the 4 ball than he would have liked, so he's going to have to use a touch of left spin on the cue ball to help straighten the angle off the cushion. The cue ball slightly touched the 9 ball, but he still ended up with a nice angle on the 5 ball. At this angle, he'll be going 2 rails toward the 6 ball. At this angle, Chang will have to use low right and slightly cheat the pocket, which means the object ball needs to brush the cushion as it travels toward the pocket. By cheating the pocket, Chang can bring the cue ball farther down the side rail for his shape on the 7 ball. When Chang shot the 6 ball, it never touched the cushion, which sent the cue ball higher up on the side rail. Now at this angle, Chang won't be able to hold the cue ball for the 8 ball, so he's going to have to go off both end rails for his position on the 8 ball. When working with students, one exercise we work on is to predict the cue ball path off rolling shots. For instance, place the cue ball at different angles on the object ball and try to predict the path the cue ball will take without using side spin. The goal of these exercises is to develop a feel for where the natural rolling cue ball is going to go. A lot of players who don't have a feel for where the natural rolling angle is going to take the cue ball will use side spin when it's not necessary, making the shot harder than it needs to be. In this rack, Chang was left here on the 1 ball. Before he shoots the 1 ball, let's see where he would like to end up for the 3 ball. The goal when shooting the 1 ball is to end up on or close to the 2 ball pocket line. Once he's on the 2 ball, he can draw back to the middle of the table. The key when shooting the 3 ball is ending up on or on the left side of the 4 ball pocket line, since he won't have to do too much with the 4 ball to get on the 5 ball. When Chang shoots a 3 ball, he has 2 options. He can go 1 rail toward the 4 ball, making sure he ends up on or across the 4 ball pocket line. Or he can go 2 rails toward the 4 ball. The advantage of the 2 rail shot is that the cue ball is traveling toward the 4 ball at the correct angle. Before he shoots the 4 ball, let's examine the rest of the pattern. When he shoots the 4 and 5 ball, he wants to end up at this angle on the 7 ball. From here, he can go 3 rails for his position on the 8 ball. So when he shoots the 4 ball, he wants to make sure he doesn't end up just short of the 5 ball pocket line. So when he shoots the 4 ball, he'll draw back to ensure he lands on or just across the 5 ball pocket line. Now he can draw back off the side rail to create his angle on the 7 ball. On shots like this 7 ball shot where you need to strike high on the final cushion, the closer you can send the cue ball to this corner pocket with running English, the higher the cue ball will strike on the final rail. So in this shot, Chang will use low spin to help send the cue ball closer to the corner pocket, along with left spin, which helps propel the cue ball in the correct direction. Whenever you play a 3 rail position shot like this, always give yourself a target on the final rail. So a good target on this shot would be the 3rd diamond. In this pattern, the key shot is making the 1 ball and creating an angle that he can use to get on the 4 ball. If we look at the 1 ball bank shot, the cue ball is within the natural angle, which means if Chang goes for the bank shot, the cue ball will be traveling in this direction. Banks like this are worth taking since there are several blocker balls in this area, which may result in a safety if he misses. Also, the cue ball will be traveling in the correct direction for shaping the 3 ball. Now if the 3 ball were here at the other end of the table, then Chang may have played a defensive shot, since gaining position for the 3 ball would be very difficult. His goal when banking the 1 ball is to send the cue ball to the end rail crossing the 3 ball pocket line. Before he shoots a 3 ball, let's examine the 4 and 6 ball. When he rolls in the 3 ball, his cue ball will be traveling in this direction. He could try to roll the cue ball all the way down to the 4 ball pocket line, but there's the danger of going too far. If the cue ball ends up in the middle of the table, he can use that angle to go 2 rails for shape on the 6 ball. His goal when shooting the 4 ball is to make sure the cue ball ends up near the 6 ball pocket line. He could use right spin and send the cue ball in this direction, but the danger in this type of shot is that the right spin tends to kill the cue ball speed when it strikes the cushion, so there's always the chance of underhitting the shot. In the game, he chose to use running English and go 2 rails around the 6 ball. On shots like this, where you need to go 2 rails landing close to a pocket line, in this case the 6 ball pocket line, you have 2 choices. You can use a low spin shot with about a tip of left spin, or you can use a soft rolling shot and use at least 2 tips of side spin. Since you would be shooting softly on this shot, you would have a much better chance of controlling the speed and path of the cue ball. Before he shoots the 6 ball, we'll examine the rest of the pattern. If he can pocket the 6 and 7 and end up near the 8 ball pocket line, he can pocket the combination with draw, leaving him a shot on the 8 ball. So when he shoots the 6 ball, he wants to slide the cue ball over to the 7 ball pocket line, which will leave him a stop shot. When shooting this combination, he's going to use draw to create distance between the cue ball and 8 ball. He ended up with a little more angle in the 8 ball, so now he's going to stun the cue ball one rail to the other side of the 10 ball. In this layout, the key shot is getting from the 6 ball to the 7 ball. Once he's on the 7 ball, he has the option of shooting the 8 ball into the side or corner pocket. Now let's examine the first 4 or 5 balls. When Chang shoots the 5 ball, he wants to end up on the left side of the 6 ball pocket line. From here, he can roll in the 6 ball, sending the cue ball 2 rails for the 7 ball. Now he needs to find the easiest way to get to this position area from the 5 ball. If he ends up around here, he can pocket the 5 ball and send the cue ball to the middle of the table. The advantage of this type of positional shot is that the cue ball is traveling on the correct side of the 6 ball. The other option is to play position here and go 1 rail around the 6 ball. The key to this shot is sending the cue ball along a path that's close to the 6 ball, which will give us a nice angle on the 6 ball. If the path is a little wider, then our angle on the 6 ball becomes flatter, making shape on the 7 ball a little tougher. So now let's go back to the 2 ball. One option Chang has to go from the 2 ball to the 3 ball is to place the cue ball here and use a stun shot to send the cue ball over to the side rail for shape on the 3 ball. From here he can pocket the 3 ball and slide over for the 4 ball. While this is a good option for playing the first 3 balls, the option Chang chose makes it a little easier for him to create a high angle on the 5 ball. In the game, Chang played the 2-4 combination, leaving the 2 by the pocket. The advantage of playing position for the 5 ball this way is that the 3 ball is already near this area, so it's just a matter of creating an angle in the 3 ball and then just sliding it over into the position area. When Chang shot the 5 ball, he sent the cue ball along a path that would ensure he would get a proper angle on the 6 ball. For instance, if he had played a path closer to the 6 ball, there is the danger of crossing the 6 ball pocket line. When playing shots like the 6 ball, you always want to give yourself a target on the second side rail. By giving yourself a target, you can then visualize the path you're going to need, which tells you how much side spin, if any, you're going to need. And we see that Chang ended up going a bit too far, and he ended up landing on the 7 ball pocket line. Now from here he has 2 options. He can pocket the 7 ball and play the 8 ball in the corner pocket, rolling forward for the 9 ball in the side pocket. As a general rule, strong players tend to avoid long corner pocket shots from this angle if possible. When a ball is close to the cushion, as in this shot, you can get away with mishitting the shot a little bit. When the object ball is farther away from the cushion, if you catch even a little bit of the side rail before the corner pocket, the ball will probably not go in, even at soft speeds. So Chang's cue ball ended up on the 8 ball pocket line. since at this angle he's not shooting the 8 ball into a full pocket. He doesn't want to risk trying to cheat the pocket and gain position for the 9 ball in the side pocket. Instead, he's going to draw back a few inches and play the 9 ball in the corner pocket. Chang just accepted what the table gave him and just took a longer shot on his next ball. In this game, the key shot is getting from the 2 ball to the 3 ball. Once he's on the 3 ball, he'll have a few options for getting on the 4 ball. So his goal when shooting the 1 ball is to create an angle on the 2 ball that he can use to get on the 3 ball. One option is to use a stun draw shot, sending the cue ball this way for an angle on the 2 ball. From here, he can roll in the 2 ball and send the cue ball in this direction for the 3 ball. The second option is to pocket the 1 ball and cross the 2 ball pocket line. If he lands on the cushion, he can roll in the 2 ball, sending the cue ball toward his position area. Chang decided against this shot where he's sending the cue ball in this direction. The danger in this shot is coming up short or landing too close to the pocket line. Unlike this shot where he can draw off the end rail for a position, on this shot he would have to draw back several feet with right spin, moving the cue ball around the 3 ball, which is a very difficult shot. Chang ended up on the 2 ball's pocket line. When the object ball is this close to the side rail, you can get away with cheating the pocket, which is what Chang did here. He used a power draw shot with left spin to send the cue ball back up table toward the 3 ball. And if we stop the video here, we can see that the 2 ball is striking the cushion near the first diamond. And one tip to remember is that when you're playing a shot like this where you're drawing back to a cushion with side spin, there's an easy way to know which spin you need to use on the cue ball. If you were to face the first cushion that the cue ball is going to strike, in this case the end rail, you would have to ask yourselves which direction do you want the cue ball to go, left or right. In this case, we need the cue ball to go left, so we would have to use draw with left spin. On the 3 ball, Chang ended up with a bit more angle than he would have liked. So when he plays the 3 ball, he decides to draw the cue ball off the 9 ball, which will send it toward the middle of the table. On this shot, Chang needs to be aware of his speed since he doesn't want the 9 ball blocking the corner pocket for the 6 ball. At this angle in the 4 ball, the cue ball is probably going to cross the 5 ball's pocket line. Before he shoots the 5 ball, let's examine the rest of the layout. His goal when shooting the 6 ball is to end up on this side of the 7 ball's pocket line. At this angle, he can go off the end rail and toward the 8 ball, or send the cue ball off the side rail. When he shoots the 5 ball, he wants to track below the 7 ball like this, which means he'll have to shoot this shot with low spin to strike the cushion closer to the corner pocket, along with a little right spin to help move it toward the position area. Anything above center on this shot will send the cue ball in this direction. He ended up on the 6 ball pocket line, so a stop shot on the 6 ball will leave him an angle that he can use to get on the 8 ball. He doesn't have the natural angle to send the cue ball off the end rail and toward the 8 ball. If he were here with the cue ball, then he could roll it in to create his position. So on this shot, Chang used a stun shot to send the cue ball toward the side rail for his angle on the 8 ball. He ended up a little flat on the 8 ball. On this shot, a lot of players would perform this type of shot with right spin. Chang tends to use side spin only when absolutely necessary. So on this shot, Chang used a stun shot to send the cue ball across the table for position. On the 9 ball shot, Chang used a drag shot to help control the cue ball's speed. In this pattern, Chang has ball in hand on the 2 ball. The key shot in this pattern is creating an angle in the 3 ball that he can use to get on the 4 ball. Once he's on the 4 ball, the rest of the pattern falls into place. Ideally, when he shoots the 2 ball, he wants to end up around here on the 3 ball, so he can roll in the 3 and send the cue ball toward the 4 ball. One mistake players sometimes make is to place the cue ball here and go one rail toward their position area. The problem with playing the shot this way is that the cue ball is in the danger area almost the entire path, so the speed control has to be very precise. When working with students, I always emphasize playing position off cushions, since this tends to open up the position window. For instance, in this example, instead of trying to softly roll in the 13 ball for his angle in the 11 ball, which means almost his entire path is in the danger area, he can go off both cushions, and now his danger area is a much smaller percentage of his cue ball path. In the game, Chang went off the side rail and end rail for his position on the 3 ball, which means once the cue ball reaches this point in the path, it is no longer in the danger area. Also, if Chang overhits the shot, the cue ball is still at the proper angle for the 3 ball. So his position window is a little larger than the first option. When he shoots the 3 ball, his goal is to land on or very close to the 4 ball pocket line. Before he shoots the 4 ball, let's look at the rest of the layout. In this shot, many players would either draw back creating an angle in the 7 ball that they can use to get on the 8 ball, or they would roll forward for the 7 ball in the side pocket. What's interesting is that Chang doesn't want to risk ending up in a danger area. For instance, if he draws back for the 7 ball and underhits the shot, or he overhits the shot, he's going to have some work left to get on the 8 ball. Or if he rolls forward, there's a chance he could end up straight in, which means he'll have to take a longer shot on the 8 ball. Since the stop shot on the 4 ball leaves Chang an angle on the 7 ball that he can use to get on the 8 ball, there's no need to risk trying to create another angle. When he plays the 7 ball, he wants the cue ball to end up on or on the left side of the 8 ball pocket line. From here, he can stun the cue ball off the side rail for his angle on the 9 ball. It's important that he creates a slight angle on the 9 ball, since he doesn't want the cue ball too close to the cushion when shooting the 10 ball. On this shot, Chang has 2 options. He can softly roll in the 7 ball and end up short of the 8 ball pocket line, or he can go off 2 rails for his position. Due to the angle in the 7 ball, Chang felt more comfortable going 2 rails crossing the 8 ball pocket line. If he ends up on the wrong side of the pocket line, he'll have to play a stun shot off the other side rail and back for a position on the 9 ball. At this angle in the 8 ball, a draw shot may leave the cue ball a little flat on the 9 ball. So Chang will have to use a low stun shot with right spin to create his angle on the 9 ball. At this angle, he'll be using the same low stun shot with right spin. In this right, the key shot is creating an angle in the 5 ball that will send the cue ball toward the 6 ball. If he can end up around here on the 3 ball, he can stun the cue ball off the side rail, crossing the 5 ball pocket line. Once he's here, he can create an angle on the 6 ball that will send the cue ball in this direction for the 8 ball. And on this shot, Chang used very little, if any, left spin. The goal on this shot is to send the cue ball across the 5 ball pocket line. On this shot, he ended up a little short of the 5-ball pocket line. Since the 6 ball is near the corner pocket, he can pocket the 5 ball with center high and about 2 tips of right spin and just take a longer shot on the 6 ball. On this shot, he'll be using left spin to roll in the 6 ball, sending the cue ball in this direction for the 8 ball. If he can end up around here for the 8 ball, it won't take much to pocket the 8 ball and get his shape for the 9 ball. The danger area is landing on or very close to the 8 ball pocket line, which will result in shooting the 9 ball with the cue ball near the cushion, making the shot tougher. So Chang clipped the 9 ball and ended up with a flat angle on the 8 ball. He needed just a touch more left spin to send the cue ball in the proper direction. At this angle in the 8 ball, Chang has 2 options. He can try to power the 8 ball into the pocket, forcing the cue ball away from the cushion. This option is risky since the pocket will play very small at this speed. The second option is to use high action, sending the cue ball to the in rail with a touch of right spin. You'll see this type of shot quite often with flat angles like this. By playing the shot this way, the pocket plays much larger since it doesn't require a power stroke. On this shot, he used about a tip of right spin, which helped keep the cue ball off the cushion.